Have you ever met someone who thought they had all the time in the world? Someone who believed their wealth, their success, their carefully built life would last forever? What if I told you one of the most chilling warnings Jesus ever gave was about such a man who had everything, yet in one night lost it all? Picture the scene. The crowd gathers around Jesus. Dust rises in the hot air as voices clash. A man pushes forward, his face tight with frustration. "Teacher," he calls, "tell my brother to divide the inheritance with me." The people murmur money, inheritance, family disputes. They know these battles all too well. Jesus turns to him, his gaze steady. His voice is calm but firm. "Man, who made me judge or arbitrator over you?" Then he lifts his eyes to the whole crowd. His words are sharp, piercing the air like a blade. "Beware. Guard yourselves against all kinds of greed. For a man's life does not consist in the abundance of possessions." And then silence. Every ear leans in. Jesus begins to tell a story. "There was a rich man," he says. "His land was fertile, and that year his harvest overflowed. Golden stalks of grain waved in the breeze. Workers strained under the sun, carrying bundle after bundle, their arms aching from abundance. The man stood in his fields, surveying it all, pride swelling in his chest. But soon a problem arose. His barns groaned with grain, the doors barely closed. The storehouses could hold no more. He frowned, pacing back and forth. Then a thought came. What shall I do? My barns are too small. I know. I'll tear them down and build bigger ones. Then I'll have room for everything. And once that's done, I'll finally rest. I'll sit back and say to myself, you've done well. Eat, drink, be merry, enjoy life. He imagined the future, long days of leisure, nights filled with feasting. He saw himself surrounded by luxury, envied by all. His lips curved into a satisfied smile. But what he could not see was the shadow of night creeping in. What he did not hear was the quiet voice that would soon thunder. That very night, as the man reclined at his table, his heart was full of pride. He poured himself wine, confident in tomorrow. But then a sudden stillness filled the room, and into the silence came a voice not of man, but of God himself. You fool! This very night your soul is required of you, and the things you have prepared, whose will they be? The man's breath caught. His eyes widened with terror. His hands, once clutching his cup of wine, trembled. He had built bigger barns, but none of it could buy him another heartbeat. And with those words, his story ended. Jesus looked back at the crowd, his voice heavy with truth. So it is with the one who lays up treasure for himself, but is not rich toward God. The people shifted uneasily. Some lowered their eyes. Others clenched their fists, thinking of their own fields, their own wealth, their own restless hunger for more. But Jesus' words lingered, echoing in the air. A man's life does not consist in the abundance of his possessions. Now, pause for a moment. Can you see it? The rich man's barns towering over the land, his pride echoing in every timber, every stone. But when the final hour struck, all his plans crumbled like dust. His wealth could not save him. His abundance could not protect him. His barns stood full, while his soul stood empty. And here is where the story grips us not as a tale of a nameless man, but as a mirror. How many of us are building our own barns? Maybe not with wood and stone, but with money, career, status, or possessions. Maybe we say to ourselves, if I can just have this much, if I can just secure this one thing, then I'll finally be at peace. Then I'll rest. But what happens when tomorrow does not come? What happens when, like the rich fool, our carefully built plans meet the unexpected call of eternity? The danger of greed is not just that it wants more, it is that it blinds us to what truly matters. It convinces us that life is measured in what we own, instead of who we are in God's eyes. The rich fool was not condemned for being wealthy. He was condemned for being selfish, for forgetting the giver of every gift, for storing treasures on earth while neglecting the treasures of heaven. And isn't that the warning for us all? Think of it, what if, instead of tearing down his barns, the man had chosen to share his abundance? What if he had given grain to the hungry, seed to the poor, bread to the widows and orphans? His barns would have been empty, but his soul would have been full. His life would have overflowed, not with possessions, but with purpose. And here is the truth Jesus was showing us. Being rich toward God means living with open hands, not clenched fists. It means using what we have to love, to give, to bless, to serve. Because in the end, it's not the size of our barns that matters, it's the state of our hearts. So now let me bring this closer to home. Look around your life. What barns are you building? Is it the endless pursuit of money, the constant need for recognition, the hunger for more, even when you already have enough? Jesus is whispering across the centuries, beware, life is more than possessions. And the question is, will we listen? Because here's the most sobering truth. One day, every one of us will hear the same call the rich fool heard. One day our souls will be required of us. And on that day, it won't matter how big our barns are, how much grain we stored, or how much we owned. What will matter is whether we lived rich toward God. So, what about you? If tonight your soul was required, what would you leave behind? Would it be barns full of grain or a life full of faith, love, and generosity? That is the question Jesus leaves us with. The parable of the rich fool is not just a story, it's a warning, a wake-up call, and an invitation. An invitation to stop chasing temporary treasure and start investing in eternal treasure. To stop building bigger barns and start building deeper faith. To stop saying, one day I'll enjoy life, and start living the life God is calling you to live today. So now, I ask you, what would you have done in this moment? Share your thoughts in the comments. I'd love to hear them. And if this story moved you, don't forget to subscribe for more powerful Bible stories, and share this video with someone who needs encouragement today.